Technology has completely, it's turned our work culture on its head.
Oh, absolutely.
We've gone from sifting through stacks of paper resumes to just using software that parses it all instantly.
A huge shift.
And that drive for efficiency for data isn't just for hiring. Today, we're going to apply that same lens to something that's, well, often a bit frustrating for everyone involved. How companies actually track and improve what their employees do. We're talking about modern performance management.
And it's so important because the old way, that mandatory yearly appraisal, it's just fundamentally broken for how we work now.
Broken is a strong word, but it feels right.
It is, though. It's not just that it has less impact. We actually know why it fails.
Yeah.
These traditional reviews, they're so subject to recency bias.
Right. What your manager remembers from last month, not last year.
Exactly. And the goals you set in January, they're often totally irrelevant by October.
Yeah.
It's just, it reduces this complex process of coaching and feedback to one single high-stakes meeting.
A meeting that everyone dreads. Which means if you get some tough feedback, you could spend the next 9 months feeling, I don't know, unappreciated or just lost.
Precisely. So our mission today is to really unpack the framework for modern performance management, or PM. We want to show how, when you do it right.
And use the right systems.
And use the right HR management systems, it stops being this headache. It becomes a continuous chance for growth. And it gives the business invaluable real-time data.
Okay, so let's get on the same page for anyone listening. What exactly is performance management?
At its core, it's a structured process. It's about managing all the different personalities and roles in a workplace to optimize how the whole organization performs.
Making sure people meet their goals.
And that they exceed them. But a key thing the sources highlight is that it only works if employees are totally informed and familiar with the review process.
Transparency, so it doesn't feel like you're just being criticized.
Exactly. It turns judgment into coaching. Okay, so let's get into the structure. There are 4 essential stages to this process.
The 4 stages: planning, action, monitoring and tracking, and review. Let's start at the beginning. Stage 1, planning.
This is by far the most crucial stage.
Why is that? Why is the upfront work so important here?
Because if you get the planning wrong, everything that follows is just, it's busy work.
Right.
Planning is all about blending. You have to take the big company goals, maybe a revenue target or a better customer service, and you have to directly align them with what each employee is doing day to day.
So they see how their work actually matters.
If they don't see how their daily grind connects to the big picture, well, that's when engagement just plummets.
So how do you actually do that practically? What are the tools?
Well, you rely on things like really detailed job descriptions and more, something called an independent development plan, or IDP.
An IDP. For those of us not in HR, what is that?
It's basically a personalized roadmap for an employee. It maps out the skills they have, where they need to grow, and the specific training or projects they need to take on to get there. It's the definition of success for them.
And I imagine that can't just be a static document you write once and forget about.
Oh no, that's a key point.
Yes.
Supervisors, or HR, have to be able to update those job descriptions, those IDPs, after reviews to make sure they reflect what people are actually doing.
Which is where the tech comes in. I assume a modern HRMS, a human resources management system, is what makes that possible.
It's the engine. You can't do this effectively without one single source of truth for all your employee data. The software keeps that database accurate and dynamic, which supports the whole process.
Okay, that makes sense. So the map is drawn in the planning stage. Then we move on to stage 2, action.
The execution phase.
This is where employees and managers get hands-on,
Right,
using those IDPs as their guide.
Yeah, and we have to stress the action stage isn't just about ticking boxes on a to-do list.
It's about development.
It's all about development. It covers things like onboarding new hires, finding opportunities for improvement, offering extra training, and mapping out career paths. Modern HR systems are great for this because they often have integrated learning tools. The employee gets to take more ownership of their own career.
Okay, now for what I think is the most interesting part. Stage 3, monitoring and tracking.
Yeah.
This feels like where everything really changes from the old annual model, because technology makes the tracking continuous.
This is the revolutionary part, really. The method here is to use these sophisticated analytical HR tools to monitor activities. And not just in the HR system, but across the business, sales data, project management logs.
It's about continuous data capture.
Exactly. You're keeping a detailed, objective record of achievements and, just as importantly, areas that need some coaching.
Now, that could sound a little like Big Brother, like surveillance. How do companies make sure it's seen as strategic and not just, yeah, counting keyboard clicks?
That is the critical distinction. It's strategic because you use the data to analyze the workforce, not just one individual. You can spot common weak areas across a whole department.
And then design targeted training.
Or find solutions to bigger HR problems, like why is turnover so high in one specific team? The data helps you plan your workforce goals for the next year, the next 18 months. It tells you if you're ready for what's next.
You mentioned a really important detail before integrating workforce analytics with HR metrics. Can you give us a concrete example of what that looks like?
Sure. Think of it like this. Workforce analytics might show that a certain sales team's close rate is down.
Okay.
HR metrics on their own might show you the training records for that team's manager. When you integrate them, you can see if the new sales training you paid for is actually working, or maybe the coaching style of that manager is the real problem. It moves you away from just subjective guesses.
And gives you evidence. Which brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, stage 4, review. The sources were very clear on this. An annual review is not enough.
Not even close. It's the logical conclusion, right? If you're monitoring continuously, you have to give feedback continuously.
So we're talking about regular sessions.
Crucial. You need weekly one-on-ones, monthly check-ins, quarterly feedback sessions, something regular. This frequency gets rid of surprises. If a project is going off the rails in March, you fix it in March.
Not wait until the big review in December when it's too late.
Yes, and the business benefit is huge. You can reward and recognize people immediately when the achievement is fresh. It boosts morale, boosts retention. You're not waiting 6 months to give a delayed pat on the back.
So if we zoom out a bit from the 4 stages.
Right, because while the stages, planning, action, monitoring, review are the process, most businesses also operate on 4 core strategies.
Strategies, not stages.
Exactly. The strategies are monitoring, planning, rating, and rewarding. They're what guides management every single day. The stages are the map, but these 4 strategies are kind of like the compass.
So it's a constant cycle. The strategies are what you're doing all year within the framework of the 4 stages.
Perfectly put. And this whole structure ensures that any feedback you give an employee is directly aligned with the company's goals. It's all about ensuring the business is healthy and growing.
And the technology, the HRMS platform, is the hub that connects it all.
It is. These platforms aren't just digital filing cabinets anymore. They enhance every single one of these processes. They handle everything from recruitment software to, complex admin work like I-9 compliance checks.
So HR isn't just bogged down in paperwork.
Right. And the move to cloud-based solutions is making these powerful tools available to everyone, not just giant corporations.
So when you put it all together, what does this mean for the average person at work? We've gone from this yearly HR thing everyone hated to a system that's integrated, it's continuous, it's driven by data, it's designed to make sure you're not just hitting targets, but that you actually feel satisfied, feel valued.
And this whole framework, it relies completely on that constant feedback loop. On data, you see features like goal setting, self-service portals, constant communication.
Yeah.
They're now central to how these HR systems work.
Right.
Which, if you connect it to the bigger picture, it really raises an important question for you to think about.
Go on.
If modern performance management requires all these features, goal setting, constant communication, you have to ask, is this process even about evaluation anymore?
Yeah.
Or has it really become more about enabling continuous employee engagement and just better communication across the board?
That's a fascinating thought. Is the score at the end even the point anymore? Thank you for diving deep with us today.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.